Teachers should be the ultimate learners. I believe we model how to learn how to learn. In other words, how to become lifelong learners. We model that through our classroom behaviors and attitude. I realize that teaching the same thing all the time can become routine and monotonous. And I suspect that new teachers can't wait until teaching becomes at least a little routine. But I encourage you, never let teaching become monotonous. It's not important that instructors know every new technology, but it is important that they don't close themselves off to the technology. It's also important that they don't use the technology as a babysitter. Don't put your students on a website and tell them to surf for the next 15 minutes. At least don't do that every day. There are times when students need to have a freedom to roam around on the computer and make their own decisions, but don't use it as a babysitter. Students will know if what they are working on has value or not, and they will respect a teacher who has them using technology in meaningful ways, even if she is not totally confident in all the technology. As with many things in life, introducing that first technology lesson is the hardest part. Once you have done one successfully, everything else will be easier. Now, realize that sometimes recognizing a successful technology lesson is a little difficult, because chaos is a natural part of technology lessons. So a lesson may look chaotic to the instructor and still be highly successful. Let's take a sidetrack here and talk about chaos. Why is chaos so often a part of technology lessons? Well, by chaos, I mean things like you're moving from a teacher-centered classroom to a student-centered classroom. So the instructor loses control. But that's what is supposed to happen. This teacher is supposed to lose control in those situations. And the students are supposed to take control away from you. But you will also have a lot of questions on a lot of different subjects. So you'll be running from hand to hand trying to help out. You won't be able to predict all of the questions that they are going to ask. You're going to have some that are on the technology and some that are on the lesson. Another point is that students and teachers have higher anxiety levels when dealing with technology, at least for the first time. So that anxiety makes any little mistake feel like a huge mistake. So it may be something that's easy to fix, but if the student doesn't know that, they think it's a huge mistake and they have this horrible feeling and it can feel like chaos. So you have to do your best to let them know that mistakes are natural and there's almost no mistake with technology that can't be fixed. And even if it can't be fixed, you just redo it. So you need to communicate some of those things and don't expect that it's going to go nice and orderly and everything works smoothly. Sometimes it will, but most of the time it's going to look like chaos. But it's still going to be successful. It's still going to be successful. That's what happens when the power shifts from you to the student. That's what's supposed to happen. To repeat my earlier point, after your first successful technology lesson, you will be more and more willing to try again with something else. Like most things, it gets easier the more you do it, and the less afraid you are of it, the more you do it.